How's it going, everyone? My name's Andrew, and today let's talk about soccer. And I mean the word soccer. Where did it come from? Why do we call it soccer? And should we call it football? Let's get right into it. So I've always wondered, why do we, America and Canada and some other countries like Australia and New Zealand, why do we call it soccer, not football like the rest of the world? Well, I did some research, okay? And I got my answer, and I'd like to share it with you guys. And if you guys already know the answer, if you guys already know how it all came about and why we call it soccer, I'm sorry, but feel free to still stick around. And if you don't know why we do, then let's get right into it. Many people out there, including Americans, assume that the term soccer was invented by Americans. Due to the fact that we have our own form of football here, well, that's not really true. We didn't invent the word, okay? Americans did not invent the word soccer. The British did. So it all started around the late 1800s when the sport of soccer, football, first originated. So like about a dozen club leaders met at a bar in London and tried to define rules to standardize the sport. So like the sport was already being played, but like there was like no set of rules or it wasn't like officially a sport, I guess. So they tried to standardize, make rules for the sport because it was getting more and more popular amongst people. So they did just that, and before you know it, the Football Association, or the FA, was founded. And then a couple years after that, another set of club leaders met again and tried to arrange a new form of football with more use of hands, which became known as rugby football. So from then on, there were two forms of football. There was rugby football, whose nickname was Rugger, and then there was association football, whose nickname was, you guessed it, soccer. I guess they got the word soccer from association because you can see like the way association is spelled. Like the first half of the word is like ASSOC, so like SOC, sock, something like that. So back then, the trend or like the thing to do was to add ER to the end of some words. So with association football, when they got soccer from it, they got like sock from association, and then they added which made it soccer. I guess that's how they did it. So if the word soccer originated in England, why did they stop using it, and why are we using it now? Well, according to a sport economist named Stefan Szymanski, it has to do with World War II. At least that's what he says. So Szymanski, or Stefan published a paper about this topic, and how he got his answer to the question is by going back as far as like the 1900s to look at America and British news outlets, and what he found was that the British used soccer more throughout the first half of the 20th century, but then it started to fade. They would even start combining soccer with football, calling it soccer football during World War II times. And that feels so weird to say, soccer football. That's a mouthful, and it's a weird mouthful. So Stefan thinks that with American troops being stationed in England during that war, it could have had something to do with the term soccer just following American soldiers home, and that is how we just started using it. Like they just got in touch with the British lingo, and they're just like, oh, soccer football, soccer. Well, now I'm going back home. Nice seeing you guys. Hey, look at this cool sport called soccer. And by the 1980s, the British started to reject the word soccer as the sport became even more popular. I guess it was just too Americanized for them now, and then they were just like, let them have that word. We're gonna have our own football, like just football. So I guess that's it. I guess that's the whole story, basically summed up in a nutshell as to why we call it soccer. So there, like I said before, there was two forms of football for England back then. Like there was rugby football and soccer football, association football. And a lot of countries who do call it soccer, like us and Canada and New Zealand and Australia and some other countries, they already have their own form of football. Like we have American football, and our form of football is totally different from soccer. So because we already had a form of football, I guess we just didn't want to go on and say, oh, let's just play soccer football. So people just started to say, let's just play soccer. That's it. Like, it's just soccer. So now it's Americanized. Now soccer is looked at as an American word. But remember, we didn't invent it. So if you see some European or someone who hates the word sock and they're like, oh, America made that word, we did not. We just borrowed it from the British and we kept it. The end. Well, that's all I got for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching my videos, and if you guys like my content, feel free to smash that subscribe button. Just click the damn subscribe button if you guys want to see more content and stuff. As always, friends, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.